And hello and welcome to the PC. Apologies for there not being a cast, but now we have a wonderful time at this Norrock PC today in October, and we hope that you guys are all out here enjoying the wonderful stream. We're just going to jump straight into our Masters round 4, that is between Verdugo and Terran. Apologies for not having the cast earlier, but we're just gonna, we're just gonna go flow with it. Right now we have Kyogre and Incident on the side of Terrans, along with the Tapu Lele and the Psychic Terrain underneath Fred's team. On the Nihilego, my apologies, I am a little bit behind on what's going on, but I'm going to do my best to catch up. Currently Fred is in the lead with a pretty long round 1. They went pretty long, and I'm assuming it was a very well thought out game between the two. And I'm really curious to see what they're going to do from here. Terran does have Tailwind up, 2 turns of Tailwind, so could be really interesting. She could go for just a high powered damage, which is I assume what she's going to do. And she has a lot of options here. The Tapu Lele could possibly actually be outspeeding this Kyogre if it is Scarf. Sometimes the Tapu Lele's will speed tie with neutral speed Kyogre underneath Tailwind, so that's something that she definitely has to keep in mind as he goes for a Water Spout. Outspeeding the Tapu Lele, which is good for her. And this should be a pretty easy KO. Yep, pretty nice and solid, just taking down that Tapu Lele. Instant goes into U-turn into the Protect. Unfortunately, it's not able to U-turn out, but there's still one more turn of Tailwind. My apologies. And Fred sends out the Groudon, immediately winning the Weather War for him. So Terran is probably forced to switch her Kyogre out. And this is definitely a very awkward position for Terran right now, because the Groudon can just easily go for a Precipice Blade, KOing the Incineroar and doing a large amount of damage to the Kyogre. And depending on how the teams are built, Terra may not be able to hit KO Ice Beam onto the Groudon, so she'd most likely want to switch out into her third and final Pokemon that is in the back. The Nihilego is also very interesting because if the Incineroar is not running Darkest Lariat, it cannot KO. Well, it may not actually. Still could KO the Nihilego with the Flare Blitz, so Terran really has to play smart here to be able to figure out what her best option is. I think it's to switch the Kyogre into the third and then possibly U-turn with the Incineroar. The Incineroar might actually outspeed the Nihilego. It most definitely outspeeds the Groudon in this instance, but as Rayquaza comes in, this is really interesting, pretty good choice for Terran, as the Groudon does not decide to press with Blades. If Fred calls this right, he could actually Power Gem into the Ray. Oh, nope, he decides to Power Gem into the Incineroar, which is actually, I believe that is max speed Nihilego if it's able to outspeed the Incineroar, as most Nihilego are max speed. So now, as Tailwind peters out, this is a little bit awkward for Terran. She has the Kyogre and the Rayquaza on the sides, and she could actually extreme speed the Nihilego and possibly pick out the KO depending on how it's built. Choice Band will 100% KO that Nihilego at that range. But she does have the Weather War advantage, but the problem is that Fred does have a third Pokemon in the back, so what he can easily do is just switch out that Groudon to another Pokemon, and then just be able to reset the Weather War. And I'll be joined by my fellow co-caster, Terry.
Hey guys, sorry for joining halfway through. But yeah, in terms of weather control, I'm definitely scared of what the Groudon is about to experience. I mean, yes, the Groudon can switch out, but currently the Rayquaza is not in the Mega Evolved form, so it will be able to keep negating weather as long as it keeps staying in the non-Mega form. So we'll see how this works out in the Weather War.
As Fred does wisely withdraw his Groudon, as he wants to be able to win this Weather War now on. Brings in his Necrozma at 1 HP.
Wow, very low.
We totally did not see this earlier, obviously. Terran decides to Mega Evolve, pretty much forfeiting any sort of weather control she will have later on.
This might be a better play based on the chip damage, since if this turn, if the Kyogre knocks out both Pokemon here, then Groudon should be able to be brute forced by a Dragon Ascent and an Ice Beam.
Yeah, this would be really interesting, especially if Terran is running Earth Power. It would do a lot more damage to that. I believe Earth Power plus Ice Beam should KO that Groudon.
Yeah, generally yeah. But now with the Protect, the Nihilego gets to stay up, and that may apply some weird pressure.
Yeah, I definitely think that's a great play on Fred's end, being able to save that Nihilego. I think this kind of forces Terran to either Earth Power the Groudon and then possibly get Power Gemmed and pretty much just lose her Rayquaza in the spot, or E-Speed the Nihilego and hope for the KO depending on what the item that the Ray is holding.
If the Rayquaza is faster than the Nihilego, I would like prioritizing it right here. Having said that, we're not really, well, based on what I know, given I came halfway through, I can't tell the speed of the Nihilego and the Rayquaza relatively to each other. So we'll have to see how it works out. But depending on that information, whether they have it or not, this will impact how this turn is approached by both players.
Yeah, and as we see, they're making their decision now. Riku's used
Faster.
Dragon Sense. Apparently, it is faster than the
So that's a
Illegal.
positive speed nature, and it doubles into the Groudon, it seems.
This is kind of an interesting play. It does make the most amount of sense for Ooh, that's a very bulky Groudon. Or it's not a very...
Power Gem is going to be super effective under Groudon's
That's a
Sun,
KO.
and at -1, that
That's
will
it.
most likely claim the KO.
Ooh, this is a really tricky spot for Terra now. I don't think Ice Beam is going to kill, just based on the damage from Dragon Ascent. It's probably a very bulky Groudon. Ooh, it's a
Personally,
Sonic.
I would have liked to see prioritizing the Nihilego, given the threat that Nihilego applies to Rayquaza outside of Strong Winds. Having said that, this could have been a weird interaction of the speed tiers. Maybe the Rayquaza was adamant, but the Nihilego was for some reason slower. We never know, based
Yeah.
on this one game.
I completely agree, and that Stomping Tantrum critical hit kind of does steal the game right now, as Kyogre can't go for its spread damage, so it has to target one of the Pokemon, and the Nihilego is also just
Yeah,
faster than Kyogre.
I think when it comes to the winning strategy, the winning conditions, the big question about this game was evaluating long-term value with short-term tempo, being able to stay in the game and continue playing the game, but also being able to outdo your opponent in that process.
Yeah.
I think claiming advantage in both areas is very important for this matchup, given that both teams have tools to deal with each other.
Yeah, I completely agree, and apologies for not having a caster earlier, but from now on we will have a cast until the end of the tournament, and
Yeah.
we'll like to get back to you guys on the next round then.